Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as y'all can tell by the title of this video, I am posting my May budget with me. I know I'm a little bit late. My May budget actually started on May 7th, y'all. I thought I was gonna be back consistent with YouTube this week, but I am trying, okay? I am trying. The goal is next week, I promise. So as you guys can see, I've already calendarized all of my expenses. If you are new here, I have been debt-free for almost 3 years. This month is actually my 3-year debt-free anniversary. So that's why you don't see a whole heap of bills, because I don't have very many. I do have rent, a couple of insurances, and that is it. I do have low rent costs because since I am single with no children and I got tired of wasting money on rent, I live with my mother and sister by choice. I am a PRN psych nurse. I work in an eating disorder facility, and that is my rundown. So as you guys can see, every Friday when I get paid, because I do get paid weekly, I take out 1/4 of my rent. If it is a magic month like it was last month, I believe, or the month before, then I do always end up with that extra 1/4 of a payment. So essentially what I do is I send this money to savings, and then on the 1st I pull it out and pay my rent. I think a month ahead already, and I have like an extra $525 in that particular account for rent as well. So I'm ahead. So let's see, there's the rent. These are the weekly paychecks. Then here's my car insurance due on the 21st, and then on June 1st my dental and health insurance are due. So let's go ahead and get into this portion. As you guys can see, I have already done the left side of this page here, which is just where I list out my fixed expenses and figure out how much it's going to cost me for that month, which is $604.14. So I'm going to zoom y'all in so we can get to the nitty-gritty. Okay, so the first thing that I have to do after I've calendarized my expenses and kind of totaled up what my fixed expenses cost is figure out what my income is going to be for the month. So I get paid again weekly. So I have 4 paychecks in May. It's the 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. When I get paid for those 25 hours for the week, it's $723.94, and that's only if I don't work any extra hours. So it's literally 25 hours worth of income, because when I work I don't take a 30-minute break, so they end up having to pay me for that. So I've already calculated how much that is for the 4 weeks. And then the only other income that I do have to include is YouTube. And when I looked, my YouTube paycheck should be $206.73. It's gonna be even less next month because I ain't been doing what I'm supposed to do. But I have a lot of stuff going on. There's a business that I'm starting soon, and it is in the area of finance, so you guys will be hearing about that pretty soon. Yeah, so that's coming, and that's what I've been doing. So I do like to take 20% out of this when I'm calculating my income, because I do save money for taxes. So the money that I'm actually budgeting doesn't need to include this particular amount, because that's going to go to my tax sinking fund literally as soon as it comes into my account. So if I subtract that amount, that means my net income is $165.39. So if I add that with the income from my job, that means my total income for the month should be $3,061.15. So that is what I'm going to write up here where it says projected income. So So after I figure out my projected income, I like to subtract my fixed expense amount because that's going to let me know what my net income is. And from my net income has to pay for my everyday expenses like my gas, my groceries, my personal care items. And it also has to have the money to put towards savings. And if I was still in debt, it would be going towards extra debt payments because the minimum debt payments would have been taken care of in the fixed expense amount. But we don't have that anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that amount here. And if you are new here, I do a totally different budgeting method than everybody else you'll see on YouTube, but I do have a simplified version of this where you just have to have multiple bank accounts and kind of move money around, but it's very simple. You get the same results, and I'll try to remember to link that video up in the eye in the sky. If I don't, all you have to do is YouTube search KeAmber Vaughn basic budget or something, or simple budget, and it'll pop up. Okay. So now I know I have, excuse me, almost $2,500 to work with as far as paying for variable expenses and saving money. Now I did recently hit a milestone in my savings journey, which I'm going to make a totally separate video about that. But because I've now hit that milestone, I don't really want to save as much money anymore. I'm going to start putting that money towards investments, as well as putting it, I'm kind of against IRAs and 403ks or 403bs and 401ks and stuff like that. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to put that money off to the side for the future, but I don't want to keep pumping money into my savings account because I need that money to give me a better return on investment. But this particular milestone was my big milestone that I wanted to hit before I started kind of like shoving my money elsewhere. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do as far as the savings part. So now I'm just going to list out about how much I think I'm going to end up spending for each of my variable expense categories. For groceries, I'm going to do $300. And normally I would do $75 to $100 a week, but there's one week where my expenses are going to be drastically reduced for a certain reason. You guys will find out later. So because of that, I'm reducing some of these expense categories for right now. Personal household is still going to be $125 because I do know some of my serums and like facial washes and stuff should be out by the end of the month. So I'll need to re-up on that. Restaurants, I'm going to do $75. I usually do $25 a week. Gas, I already had to fill up once. And I'll probably have to fill up at least one more time. So I'm just going to do $100. And that'll also give me a little bit of money to get a car wash. Shopping, I'm going to do $500. That's only because I'm possibly going to buy a wig this budget, and it's going to be pretty expensive, and then I probably want to buy some more clothes as well. We'll see. Miscellaneous, I'm just going to do $100. And that's only because even though Mother's Day fell within this budget, Mother's Day was on the 9th and my budget started on the 7th. I had already decided at the end of last budget to take out $100 in cash. I gave most of that to my mom and grandma, but then there's a little bit left over, which I'm going to put in a birthday card for somebody. So outside of that, I don't have any other like May or early June birthdays or anything to worry about. So, and that's usually what comes out of my miscellaneous category. So I'm just going to do 100 and we'll leave it there. The next thing I need to add in is supplements. So both of my supplements are coming out this particular month, and then I did start buying vitamin C supplements. It's like the powder you put in your drink, in your water. It's a vitamin C and zinc powder, and then I also started buying a protein powder. So I'm gonna do 120 because the vitamin C and protein powder I should have to re-up like once a month. So yeah, I think 120 should be fine. And then business, I'm only gonna do 50. I normally do 100 here, but I rarely ever spend money out of there, and watch this be the month where I need something out of there. And then there's going to be one more category. I'm going to end up putting, let's do I'm gonna do, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5. I'm gonna do 700 here for this last category. And we'll leave it there. Okay, and hopefully that leaves me a couple $100 out of my net income. Okay, so let's go ahead and calculate all of these. 75, 100, 500, 100, 120, 50, 700. Okay, I still have $400 left over. I'm just gonna recalculate this just to make sure. 600, 170, 700. Okay. So total I'll need for my variable expenses is $2,070, which is a lot for me. That's a lot, honestly, for me, but that's okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do is figure out what percentage of my net income here needs to go towards my variable expenses. Again, my method is math heavy, so if you want something simplified, go check out the other video. So if I divide that here, that means that about 85% of that is of my net income is gonna go towards my variable expenses. If you're still in debt, I always tell you to round up to the nearest 10% just to give yourself a little bit of cushion for overspending, just in case. But when you're not in debt anymore, like I am, then you could just do the nearest 5%. So I'm gonna do that. So the amount that I need to budget for my variable expenses is going to be a little bit more than that 2070 that we came up with, only because I literally just increased the 84.2 to 85. So to figure out that amount of money, because that's basically the extra cushion I'm giving myself in case I overspend, the amount that I'm giving myself is $2,088. That's an ugly 8 and 45 cents. So it's just a little bit more than 2070. So that means 15% is going to go to savings, because I don't know if I'm going to put it in savings or how I'm going to do this just yet. But for now, that's what it'll be. So if I take the $2457.01, which is my net income, I subtract what I need for variable expenses. That means I'll have $368.56 for savings or whatever I'm going to do with that, plus the $41.34. Remember, I took out for YouTube taxes. Oh yeah, y'all, I increased my mini emergency fund from $9,000 to $12,000. But you guys will hear about all of that in my savings milestone video. All right, this is not the page I want. This is the page I want. All right, so really quickly, I'm gonna do my paycheck to paycheck overview, and then the next video that's gonna come out tomorrow actually will be me actually doing my first paycheck to paycheck breakdown, and then I'm gonna set up all my other paycheck to paycheck budget forms like for the month, so that when I get paid, all I have to do is kind of plug and play. So that video will be coming tomorrow. Okay, so first things first. Again, my first paycheck is May 7th. And that's going to take me all the way until May 13th. And we have $723.94. So out of this, I'm gonna take a picture of this really quick so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. Sorry about that. Uh-oh. Y'all, my right arm is messed up really bad. I'm surprised I'm able to reach far enough. to write right now. Okay, so the first thing that I always have coming out is rent. And there is something that I need to do though. I have to think about that. Okay, and then we have the budget. What I'm gonna do, this is the amount I need for my variable expenses. This is the amount I need for that particular category. But I know exactly when this particular money is gonna come out. Yeah. So this is the amount I need every week for my variable expenses outside of this huge amount that's gonna be covered between it's gonna mainly come out of one particular week worth of expenses though. How do I want to do that? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it that way. Okay, so rent is gonna be $75. The budget is gonna be $342.50, and that should be it there. Then we have, I'm gonna skip a couple of lines. Let's do the next one right next to it. May 14th to May 20th. Oop, I went too far. Then again we have rent of $75. Budget of $342.50. And that's that, because my insurance is going to come out of the next one. Okay, so the next one we have is May 21st to May 27th. So 25, 26, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3. All right, so the income here is also going to include my YouTube income, but I'm going to put the whole check on that part because I'm going to take the taxes out here. And the taxes was $41.34. Then again we have rent. And then for the budgeted expenses, let's see. So 4 out of 6. So I'm gonna put like 500 of my $700 for that $700 category. I'm gonna put 500 of it in this particular week, but then I also need to add the weekly amount for the budgeted expenses period. So that's gonna get me $842.50. And then I have car insurance for $62.49. Yeah, 49. And then let's do the last one, May 28th to, what is it, June 3rd. And that'll be based off the previous week's pay. pay, which is going to be a full week. So $723.94. I just have to make sure that I did my income right. So again, we have rent of $75. Then the budget is going to be that $342.50 plus the $200 I have left over for this one. So that's going to be $542.50. The other thing I do have coming out is dental insurance for $954 and health insurance for $232.11. And that should be that. So really quickly, I'm just going to calculate how much money I have left over each week. So every part of my budget is just to look at my expenses versus my income in different ways. The calendar shows one way. The other pages that I showed another way. And this is kind of like my last resort of making sure that I have enough money in each paycheck to cover those expenses that I'm projecting at that time. Now, you never really want to have a negative week or a negative paycheck. If you get paid bi-weekly, you don't want to have a negative bi-weekly pay cycle. However, there are going to be times where you just really literally can't help it. But the best time for you to have a negative pay cycle is always towards the end of the month. That way you guys see how like these first 2 weeks I'm basically net $600. So even if I'm negative down here, it's okay, because as long as I follow this and don't overspend, even if I overspend a little bit, if I have $200 left over from each of these, as long as that $400 can cover what I'm negative here and then negative here possibly, I will be okay. The other thing that you can do is you can decide to like if your negative pay weeks are here, which is why it's best to do it towards the end, you can always pay something early if need be. Or like I said, because your overage up here can cover it, then you can still pay whatever on time down there. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna get negative $28.17. $90.66. Okay, now because I'm really good with budgeting, I'm okay with these negative pay cycles here, because the only thing that I could really possibly do is pay the car insurance a week early and then also put my rent payment. So here I could just do a double rent, you know, put off to the side. For this particular pay week, I could just pay my health insurance early, but it's literally no point. I just go with what I have. All right, so real quick, week 1, I have an excess of $306.44. Week 2, again, $306.44. Week 3, I'm negative $90.66. Week 4, I'm negative $135.21. And I have a business call in literally 2 minutes. So I'm gonna hurry up and finish this part. So this gives me $387.01. And again, because I don't think that I'm gonna put this in my savings account since I hit my savings goal, I'm just gonna leave this here because I don't know how I'm going to use this. I could put it into my TD Ameritrade account so that I can buy more stocks for long term. I can start a Roth IRA if I wanted to, just to reduce my tax liability. There's different things that I can do, but for right now I'm just going to leave it there. Knowing me, I'll probably just house this money in a certain savings account, and then once I actually figure out what the heck I want to do with it and how I want to start processing this then I'll just take it out of that account and do as I please. So this was my May budget. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Again, my next video is going to be doing my very first like paycheck to paycheck budget for this month, like with my actual paycheck and stuff like that. And then I'll be setting up all of the other weeks in the same manner, just so that I can plug and play when I do get paid. I'm just not doing weekly budgets because it's redundant at this point. I do the same thing every time. So just be on the lookout for that video tomorrow. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them down below. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, but other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.